Last time, we got new DD, Megalith, and Goki cards, which helped those decks quite a bit. E-Telly and Shureg have also been interesting additions to the format. We got almost complete Blackwing. It's a pretty strong deck with a solid inboard for the investment. We got a lot of impactful generic cards, including the Mulcharmies and Forbidden Droplet. These cards have been powerful but positive additions to the format in my opinion. CC is at its best when players are making decisions about how much to invest into a board, and these facilitate that. We're hosting a tournament for the upcoming format. Stick around to the end for more details. Banlist update. Barrier Statue of the Torrent and Harpy's Featherstorm are gone. Trolls at 2 now, which helps Crystron. Also Inclusion's back at 3, so you have 2 more good starters and don't have to worry about needing to recur it. It especially helps Crystron variants, which are pretty decent. The baby Chaos Dragons are back at 3. We still don't have a Link one that can use them, so they aren't really starters, but are strong extenders. Dark Refer is back at 3. I don't know if this really matters for any deck that's actually good, but it is a consistency buff for some mid to bad decks. Change of Heart and Snatch Steel are back at 3 copies apiece. These cards have been relatively popular in the format. Playing a breaker that targets means the Decode Talker Melodious has to make to turn on its DRNM protection has text, but they can do some stuff into other decks. On to new cards in Burst Protocol. The Assault Mode engine has a pretty storied history in Common Charity. Since the release of Structure Deck, the Crimson King, in 2023, there has been a control shell built around it and several decks utilizing it as an engine to enable level 6 to 9 synchros. The downshifting of Emergency Teleport late last year made the engine a lot more usable, giving the deck more starters and ones that don't use the normal summon. So seeing that it was getting support in Burst Protocol was reasonably exciting. We got 2 new cards. Dual Evolution Assault Zone, a field spell that adds a monster that mentions Assault Mode Activate from deck or graveyard to hand. It protects your Assault Mode monsters from destruction the turn they are special summoned, and you can pay 2,000 as an ignition effect to be able to use Synchro monsters from your extra deck to activate Assault Mode Activate, which could come up on like turn 3 if you get nibbed turn 1, or if you're down bad about drawing the Garnet enough to play Assault Mode 0. This card is a nice consistency buff for the deck and the engine, letting you have up to 11 copies of a starter that don't lock you, alongside up to 6 additional copies of a starter if you're okay locking yourself into synchros. And Assault Lich, a level 4 zombie tuner that can be treated as a non-tuner for synchro summons. When its normal or special summons revives a level 4 or lower zombie, or a monster that mentions Assault Mode Activate. If it's sent as synchro material, you can add Assault Slash or Assault Counter. This not only gives Assault Mode better recovery plays, but also lets the deck end on not only the Omni Negate from Stardust Dragon Assault Mode, but also a synchro of your choice and a counter trap. If you can get to Psy Reflector and it, but that would require special summoning one of the pieces. Emergency Teleport and 1-for-1 work, but what if you open, say, Psy Reflector and Assault Sentinel? Can you still get to 2 Omnis? Yes, in fact, some variants you can get to 3. Normal Psy Reflector, add Dual Evolution Assault Zone, activate Assault Zone, add Assault Beast, discard Assault Beast, add Assault Mode Activate. Psy Reflector, special summon Assault Beast, make it gain 2 levels. Synchro Summonation Fairy Dragon, AFD pop the field spell, search Libromancer first appearance. AFD, special summon Assault Sentinel from hand. Assault Sentinel lone fires for Assault Lich. Assault Lich summons back Assault Sentinel. Synchro summon Stardust Dragon. Assault Lich searches Assault Counter. Activate first appearance, search Libromancer Doombroker. Activate first appearance to ritual summon Doombroker to bring Ancient Fairy Dragon. Activate Doombroker, setting Libromancer Intervention. Set Assault Counter and Assault Mode Activate, then activate Assault Mode Activate for Stardust Dragon Assault Mode on your opponent's draw phase. But AFD also enables other combos as well, including if you open a starter that isn't the field spell and a different field spell. Both Assault Mode as a deck, possibly splashing some number of field spell engines, like Libromancer or Delta of Invitation. This and Eldritch are the only reasons Assault Lich being a zombie matters. Unfortunately, the best payoff for zombies is a hard-to-search Icarus attack, and decks with Assault Mode as an engine are still probably about 2 steps below the top decks, with the possible exception of Assault Mode Goki being around top 10. One other deck that can play the Assault Mode engine to pretty strong effect is FA, and Mechanical Mechanic, a new level 3 Wind Machine tuner, could really help the deck. If there's a card in a field zone, it can special summon itself from your hand. You can destroy a face-up back row you control to search for a wind machine with 0 attack. It also lets you increase or decrease the level of another battling machine you control by 1. This is pretty strong support for FA. You can activate one of the FA field spells, special summon this, pop the field spell to search an FA monster, let's say one of the level 4s, and an FA card, let's say another field spell. Normal summon to level 4, Synchro Summon Ancient Fairy Dragon, activate the new field spell, and pop it to search any field spell and Auto Navigator. AFD will let you get Auto Navigator on board to search a third FA field spell, though this and the Assault Mode stuff make the lack of UA Hyperstadium more apparent. The deck is still pretty okay. Duke Archfiend is a level 4 Water Fiend. It can target a monster you control with a level, send an Archfiend monster from deck to graveyard, and increase that monster's level by the level of the sent monster. Also, when your ritual monster is destroyed by battle, it can revive itself. This card doesn't do much without Archfiend Eris. It can send Bone Archfiend or Infernity Archfiend, but that's about it. Archfiend Strategy is a field spell that boosts your fiend monsters in the EMZ by 1000 attack, and can activate one of these effects each turn. Add an Archfiend Pendulum monster from your deck to your face-up extra deck, or banish one Fiend monster or Archfiend card from your hand or graveyard to search an Archfiend card except a field spell. This is an incredible tool for Fiend control. A deck that's been pretty decent since we got Hamon at least. The loss of Moon of the Closed Heaven hurt the deck, but the Mutiny in the Sky package fills that niche relatively well. And this card can search Archfiend Eccentric, a way to pop a back row or a monster, or make Fiendsmith sequence. Or Labyrinth Archfiend, who can special summon itself if a trap is activated and set a battle trap. Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch, a normal trap that can, while you control a Fiend monster, destroy a target card and send a Fiend from deck. Or Simul Archfiends, a trap that stops players from summoning monsters with the same summoning type as they control for a turn. Shipping Archfiend is a level 3 Wind Tuner with 0 attack and defense. It can make any number of target monsters one type or one attribute. Also, when a monster is summoned to your opponent's field, you can bounce a monster on each side of the field that share both a type and an attribute. This is a way to make Fiendsmith sequence that's searchable off a strategy game, can be fused with Aerial Eater by Mutiny in the Sky for Aerial Eater, and is summonable off the Hamon support that can also bounce back itself in a Radiant. As for other Fiend-based strategies, DDD Alfred the Divine Sage King is a level 6 fusion monster that requires 2 DD monsters. It can fusion summon a DDD fusion by shuffling materials back from hand, field, or banishment, and when it is banished, it can place continuous dark contracts from graveyard or banishment up to the number of DDDs you control. This actually helps DD quite a bit, not only helping you make rank 6s and 7s easier, but also in combination with Aerial Eater, allowing for some really solid grind game. It also enables some new lines facilitated by the Hamon package and Proxy F Magician. We got 4 new cards for hire. Whirlwind for hire is a quick play spell that can special summon a level 4 or lower monster for hire from the deck if you control no monsters. Then, if your opponent controls at least 2 monsters, you can special summon a second for hire. But you're locked into fur hires for the rest of the turn. From the GY, you can replace a discard for your fur hire effects. Fandora the Flying Fighting Fortress is a field spell for hire that gives your monsters for hire 300 for each differently named one you control. As an ignition effect, you can add a monster for hire, then discard a card. If your monster for hire is destroyed by an opponent's effect, you can special summon a monster for hire from your deck. And Furtive Techniques for hire for all your ultimate moves, so easily forgotten, which can destroy face-ups up to the number of differently named monsters for hire you control. You can recur this if you summon a level 8 or higher for hire. Keel Shipwright for hire is a Link 2 that requires 2 monsters with different types. If it's Link summoned, you can set 1 spell trap for hire or Fandora from your deck, but you're locked into for hires for the rest of the turn. It can banish itself from the GY to special summon a monster for hire from hand, then another if an opponent has the greatest attack. This card is not only a great enabler for fur hire, letting you search the field spell to search or dump a monster, one of the quick plays for follow-up or disruption, or a trap as a mass pop. It also acts as kind of like a Verte Anaconda for decks that have some link material of different types sitting around that I'd love to turn it into a pop one. It's fewer engine requirements than Verte, but less grind applications and worse going second, so maybe more like Silhouette Rabbit with a post-lock. With this support, Fur Hire becomes a reasonable deck in common charity. You have a pretty decent end board with a range of payoffs like a Pop Light 3, a Monster Negate and or Backer Negate, and can OTK pretty reasonably with the field spell boosting monsters. You are missing a couple pieces from the advanced version of the deck, but CC is more lenient on a deck needing an additional name or two to put up a strong board, as long as it can recover and grind well, which cards like Rex, Whirlwind, and Seal provide. Magnet Warrior is a strange archetype. We got 3 pieces of support that read quite strong, yet I have no idea how the deck is meant to perform plays in this format aside from making a rank 4 or a fusion, and even those require multiple card combos. Magnet Bonding is the most useful of the direct support. It's a modal spell with 3 effects. You can search a card we don't have, or a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior. You can search a bad boss monster, or you can Whirlpool fuse a rock using rocks. What rocks can you fuse into? Mystical Sand, Gem Knight Master Diamond, and a new card. Flux Oxenfeld is a level 7 Earth Rock fusion monster. It requires a level 5 or higher Earth monster and a rock monster. If it's special summoned, you can special summon a rock from your hand or yard, and you can bounce an Earth you control and a card your opponent controls as a quick effect. This looks like a super poly target against Megalith, but usually Megalith won't end on a second ritual monster, though they may end on Dogorad, but they will likely still get to full regardless, off of Emergence or Unformed. In fact, a more interesting place for this is in Megalith, off of Magnet Bonding, as a way to revive a ritual and add a bounce to your board, while restocking your deck with resources. But it's not really searchable, and you already have a multitude of disruptions and recovery tools. Magnet Warrior Sigma Minus can also fusion summon Flux Oxenfeld, or 2 other fusion monsters, Denial Deity Dotan or Elemental Hero Brave Neos, by using itself and other monsters in hand and monsters on field. When it's summoned, it can dump a Magnet Warrior. Fucking magnets. How do they work? First Penguin is a level 1 Water Winged Beast monster that can special summon itself as a tuner if you control no monsters. You can discard a card to reveal a Water Synchro from your extra deck, then add a Water monster from your deck with the same type but a lower level, and can flip itself face down. This has 2 main applications in CC at the moment, searching a level 5 Penguin, or Super Ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth. This actually makes the Coelacanth deck pretty consistent, with first Penguin, 1-for-1, Royal Penguin Gardens, and Area the Water Channeler all getting you to Coelacanth. It also synergizes with Dragoons, which can offset both discards through Deep Sea Diva and Prima Donna. Water has got a lot of tools since the banning of Mistdweller, and first Penguin enables it to consistently get to its playmaker, and put up a board with multiple pieces of interaction, but the deck is still weak to interaction. Rain of Frogs is a normal trap card that requires you to control an Aqua monster with 2,000 or more attack points. It sends all non-Aqua monsters on field to the GY. If it's destroyed by card effect while set, it can reset itself. There are some obvious homes like Suship, but Sorcerer of Sebek means it's a bit more generic than you might imagine. It's a cool tool for paleo decks. Vodkina is a level 10 that can summon itself from hand or GY if a level 10 monster is sent to the GY. While on field, it can summon a level 10 monster from your GY to your opponent's field negated to draw a card. These are both indirect Testina support, but we don't have the field spell or any of the light monsters, so I guess you're activating Delta, sending Eldritch, and ending on Superdora with this. Mischief of the Wolves is a quick play Mischief of the Gnomes, but there is some nuance in how it's useful. Instead of being able to activate its effect from the graveyard, it can add itself back to hand by popping a face-up card you control during your main phase if it was sent to the GY this turn. Neat with Radiant Typhoon Vision? Seeing as Barrier Statue Stone is all but dead, I'm not exactly sure where a double Armory Call that can't act as removal would see play. But Arsenal Audit can also send a Cursed Spells to the GY if that's what you need on a trap. Forbidden Ritual Art is a normal trap that can ritual summon a monster from your graveyard by banishing monsters equal to its level from the graveyard, but destroy it during the end phase. It can also banish itself from the graveyard to allow you to banish ritual monsters as tribute for a ritual summon this turn. This is interesting as a recovery play for any ritual archetype, but it's contending with another new unsearchable recovery option in Megalith, in addition to the deck's own in-engine options, so it most likely won't show up there. Shino Baron does benefit from banishing its rituals though, so it's probably a decent deck there. Storm Dragon Destrabin is the first level 11 synchro in Common Charity. That's already interesting, but it's got a lot going for it. It's a dark dragon, meaning decks like Tempai and Resonator can summon it. It's a 3k monster that can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects, and it has 2 activated effects. It can banish any number of dark monsters from your graveyard that cannot be normal summoned, to banish that many cards your opponent controls. This effect becomes a quick effect if your opponent controls more cards than you, and if it is sent to the GY, you can special summon one of your banished dragons. This is not only a really strong board breaker, being able to out anything short of actual Towerses, and potentially multiple cards at once, by banishing anything from Collapse Serpent, Red Rising Dragon to Link Kuriboh, but also a solid endboard piece, giving decks like Blackwing or Resonator pops provided your opponent has put more cards on the board than you have. And it also has potential as a send from the extra deck with cards like Dogmatic Punishment. And now on to the OTS pack. Okay, there's IDP and Fire Attacker and nothing else of note. Maybe Brazil will have something. No, just a few BES monsters in assault mode for a synchro we don't have. Ice Dragon's Prison is a normal trap, so it's searchable off of Trap Trick or Fair Welcome Labyrinth. You can only activate one per turn. You can target a monster in your opponent's yard to summon to your field negated, then you can banish a monster from both fields with the same type. This acts both as yard disruption, being able to take a monster out of your opponent's yard, and if your opponent has a monster that matches either one in their yard or one you control, it can act as non-targeting, non-destructive removal. While there are some restrictions, like needing your opponent to have put a monster in their yard, so you likely won't pair this with macro effects, and it needs to have been properly summoned if it can't be normal summoned or set, it is really strong spot monster removal. The closest card to this previously in CC being Terrors of the Overroot, a card that has seen some play in Ninja where setting a monster to your opponent's field is a benefit. But everywhere else, this is a pretty big upgrade. It can even just give you a large monster to body block or swing with. Common Charity started the year in a pretty decent spot after a pretty tumultuous 2025. First Protocol has added some new tools for existing decks, and added a new one to the roster, increasing the breadth of the format without adding any new problems. There's no new way to lock someone under a protected floodgate, the closest is searchable Simul Archfiends, and the top 3 decks didn't gain much. The OTS pack was a little disappointing, but IDP is a solid addition to the card pool. It's a great time to hop into the format, and a great place to do so is over on the Common Charity Discord, where we will be hosting an asynchronous Swiss tournament with 3-day rounds. Time extensions will be available if players have attempted scheduling, all commons up to and including OP30 being legal, with the February 2026 Forbidden and Limited list. The tournament starts Saturday 21st of February 2026, with signups open until midnight UTC the night before. Phew. Okay, what's the next set with commons? Mace's Rares, maybe interesting for Artisan. A Legendary Dex product, that could be interesting. If it's anything like the last one, we'll get some new staples. 48 commons for Dex, Modern Dex, okay, that's new. Usually they're anime cards. X-Saber, oh yeah, they're getting new support. That could be cool. Surely we're getting MX Invoker back, right? Sky Strikers. Oh, that's gonna be really strong as a control deck. Or card advantage engine. We already have multi-roll and Horde drones. Engaging Kagari would make it really pop off. Oh yeah, these decks have 15 card extra decks. We'll undoubtedly get some new staples there. And Mitsurugi. Oh, that could be incredibly busted. Ashland searches the ritual monsters? Oh, if you get Habakiri, that's just going to be what the format is, isn't it? If we don't, well, you probably have to be a ritual deck or reptile to use them effectively, but they still could be really strong. Or we might get Stone Cold nothing for Mitsurugi. See you in 4 weeks!